The home is where it all starts. Having a secure place to live for children to grow up in, for folks to grow old in, is just a critical part of life. Neighbors America is a national congressionally chartered nonprofit. Our purpose is really neighborhood revitalization and affordable housing. We support a network of almost 250 nonprofit partnerships across the country that are doing the work locally, like Rocky Mountain Communities is here in Colorado. Our leadership in the 80s went to Germany and actually found a model called mutual housing. We tweaked it here in the United States, and it basically is a resident-driven model. Residents have a large voice in, sort of the rules and services that are needed in their communities and are part of the governance of the organization. We think a strong neighborhood comes from resident engagement as well as, local investment. Around 1986, the economic downturn caused foreclosures, particularly with HUD and their multifamily housing stock, and that created inventory here in Colorado. So we saw this opportunity to revitalize those properties and preserve those for permanent affordable housing. So we had the real estate opportunity, but we had no organization. And so we started talking to residents about mutual housing, and it did take some explaining. We were used to home ownership and rental and nothing in between. It was this sort of, simultaneous effort of bringing on the real estate and bringing on the partnership.
I'm in the market rate world, and I see what's going on with rents, and I see what's going on with people not being able to pay their rent. And I think that this is a literal national crisis that needs to be attacked from a multitude of levels in the for-profit world and in the nonprofit world.
We're looking at housing that's affordable for people who earn about, say, 60% of the median income. So a family of four earning $60,000. The folks who are getting all of the work done in the areas of teaching here, your service workers, your tellers, the auto mechanics here, the police officers, the nurses.
When I came to the organization in 2019, I remember reading a stat that we were about 20,000 units short, which roughly equates to probably about 40,000 people that needed housing, affordable housing. And within 2 years, Metro Denver alone had increased from 20,000 to 50,000. As a state, that number grew to about 80,000 that we have in terms of a need. The focus is making sure that we meet the need and that demand that's out there.
Rocky Mountain Communities is able to give families a place to be while their life occurs. They're also able to provide services to the family so that they don't slip through the cracks. It's hard for some of our families to accept help. It's hard for some of our families to ask for help. And families are resilient. They can do a lot of different things. They know how to make things work, and sometimes they just need some help.
To me, the million-dollar question is, what about impact? What is it doing? Are you truly helping people thrive? So we took a completely different approach to really reimagine resident services. We wanted to be able to shift and go from being transactional to being more relational. How do we connect in a way that residents view us as partners and not just you pay, you stay? How do we get them to understand that they have to step up and do their part? If you're being resident focused, then the thought is that's where true innovation comes from.
Arroyo Village Fest. This was a resident-driven event. They were selling their crafts and arts. They wanted to be the ones to be on the grill cooking and serving, and they decorated. They have so much talent. They have so many skills to offer. And the resident services programs provides that venue, those opportunities for them to share their talents and their skills with each other and with the community around them.
Our residents want to be seen as human and not just someone who lives in affordable housing, but people. We're not only giving them a home and asking them to come in and be part of our communities, but we're really doing things to help them thrive in the world, to really see them transform from where they first started to where they are now. There's nothing like it.
This is one of these organizations that needs money so they can do more change. The biggest problem is there is not enough resources to solve all the problems that RMC residents have or Denver residents have. That's the reason I like working with RMC, because they understand that there's programs out there. Let's not reinvent something. Let's work with what's there that works and make it work for a community.
What are you doing that's making this work? What information have you uncovered in the past couple of years about working here in Colorado? What are some of the program limitations? How can we think through that together? That is really where I'm counting on partnerships and sponsors and donors to contribute in the conversation, the larger piece of what's happening to our communities in Colorado, because we're moving incredibly fast. What can we learn now for our next 30 years?
Instead of putting your head down and wondering what's going to happen, you get your heads together and come up with something, and that is Rocky Mountain Communities.